What's up, you guys, and welcome to today's video. Today I am going to be filming a video that I have been meaning to film for the longest time, but there's just so much that I want to talk about and there's just so much I want to cover that I wanted to make sure I planned it out okay, and I did that. I have it on my computer. I literally have notes that I'm going to refer to, so if I look down, that's why. But anyways, welcome back. My name is Macy if you guys are new. As you saw by the title, I'm a transfer student. I'm at Texas Christian University right now, but last year I went to San Diego State. I went there my freshman year and now I'm a sophomore. So yeah, today's video is going to be talking all about my transfer experience, advice, what I wish I knew, little Q&A. I'm just going to try to cover literally everything. This video might be a little bit long, so right here I will have where you can skip to if you are trying to find something in particular, just so that you can get there easier. And yeah, let's just get into it. Okay, so to get into the whole timeline, so my first semester of college, I actually did an entire video on this last year, this time exactly. Wow, I have come a long ways. I just had a rough time adjusting to college last year, and at the time I thought that I was the only one. It was my first time ever really going through change. I was having a hard time in my classes. It was just a hard first semester, and after talking to so many people, so many other people go through that. It is very, very common to have a difficult time adjusting to college, but yeah, I just wasn't really thriving my first semester last year, and that's what kind of sparked the transfer idea. I never actually thought I was going to transfer. I really don't think that transferring is anything that people want to do. Starting over your freshman year of college and meeting new friends and going to new classes and everything is hard enough as it is. The last thing you want to do is start over and do that again. So in the back of my head, I was maybe transferring will solve all my issues, but when it really came down to it, I was I'm not actually gonna do it. I didn't think that I was actually gonna go through transferring, because I talked to people older than me at San Diego State and they were oh yeah, I hated San Diego State my freshman year too, but I stayed and I like it now. So I was okay, there's hope for me. I got it. It'll get better. So yeah, that's what kind of sparked the whole transfer idea. It was just kind of having a hard time adjusting, and then on top of that, I didn't really like the school, so all of that combined, I was just I need to leave, but I didn't think I was going to. But then right before winter break, I was I should probably look into transferring, application deadlines, and I just thought that I should start trying to figure things out, if I did end up transferring, so I was prepared. So last December, I remember going to my advisor to start planning my classes for the next semester, and by the way, I knew that I was going to stay the full year. I know some people absolutely hate their school right away, right off the bat, and they go home very soon, they go home after the first semester, but I didn't hate it or anything. I just didn't feel like it was my school, so I wanted to give it the full year just to try it out. So yeah, anyways, I go to my advisor to plan out my classes, and at the end of it, I was oh, and by the way, I'm thinking about transferring at the end of the year. Do you have any advice? And I thought that she would try to talk me into staying or something like that, but she was oh yeah, that's totally normal. A lot of people transfer. And I was oh, whoa, this is a normal thing to do. I thought she was gonna try to talk me into it. But anyways, I went home for winter break after a pretty rough first semester. It wasn't that bad. I could have just been dramatic. It was just hard for me, and I started doing transfer applications over winter break. I did obviously TCU, I did University of Oklahoma, I did Tennessee, Clemson, and SMU, and A&M, Texas A&M. So really quick backstory, I always wanted to go out of state for college ever since I was a freshman in high school. I was literally obsessed with TCU ever since I was 14. So originally I wanted to come here, but then last second I decided to go to San Diego State. So if you're wondering how I ended up at San Diego State, that's how. So I did the transfer applications over winter break. At this point, I still didn't think I was going to transfer, but I just wanted to be prepared because I knew that I was going to get busy during the school year. So I was if I just do the transfer applications, then I'll be fine, good to go, and then if I decide to later, then I have the option. So then I came back from winter break and school was immediately so much better. I felt much more comfortable on campus. I had really good friends. I started forming a friend group. I was doing a lot better in school because I was more adjusted. I just had a much better second semester right away, but still, I can't explain it. It's just this feeling. I was this is not where I'm supposed to be. If you guys know this feeling, then you can definitely relate, but if not, I probably sound crazy. So yeah, even that I was more adjusted and in a much better mental state, I was still just not happy with the school. And I'm really happy that I stayed the full year, because it showed that it was not just having a hard time adjusting that made me not like the school. It was a lot of just knowing that I was in the wrong place. So yeah, if you're a freshman in college right now and you were looking into transferring, definitely try to dive deep into your thoughts. That sounds stupid, but try to see if it's if you're having a hard time adjusting or if it's really the school, because I kind of had to figure that one out. But anyways, over my spring break in April, I went on a little trip touring colleges. It actually worked out perfectly because my little brother is a senior in high school and he wants to go to Oklahoma, so we went there for a day just to check out the campus. And then I came here to TCU because my best friend lives here, so I got to see her. And then I flew to Clemson for their spring game because my best friend at San Diego State, her best friend went to Clemson, so we just like made it a weekend trip. She was going there anyways, and yeah, it just worked out that I did college tours. It was like a mini little trip. And after I came back, I was really in between Clemson and TCU, and I was just really torn. And let me say, like, this entire time that I was deciding, I was super anxious. This was not just like a cute little easy decision. This took so much thought and so much worrying. Like, I started to get so comfortable in San Diego, and I was like, wait, maybe I shouldn't leave. Maybe I should just stay here and stick it out since I'm already here. But after going back and forth a ton, one night my mom and I were talking, and she was like, Macy, you've always wanted to go to TCU. Like, I know you want to go there. Something along those lines. And I basically just decided on TCU. And after she said this, I just had this like weird feeling of calmness, and I was like, okay, I'm going to TCU. I'm gonna make this work out. It's gonna work out. Like, it's gonna be okay. And yeah, so that's how I decided on TCU. That's how I decided to transfer. A lot of people ask if it was like one specific moment. It was just like a lot of things leading up. I was just really unhappy at my old school. It was really hard for me to learn in an environment like that. Like, my classes were just so big, and it was just such a big school. And I know a lot of people will say like college is just a place to get your degree, like go in and out. But for me, I really wanted a school with like a strong sense of community, and that was just like not what I felt there. And I really don't want to make this video like just like why I didn't like San Diego State. I already have a video on pros and cons about it. I already have a video saying why I transferred, but basically I just didn't like it there, and that's that, and that's why I decided to transfer. It wasn't a deciding moment. It was just over time I realized that I was in the wrong place, and I hope that's like a good explanation. Okay, yeah, but that's a brief little summary of my freshman year experience and how I decided to transfer. If you think that I missed out any parts, which I probably did because I just feel like I have so much information to talk about, comment down below and I will definitely get back to your question. Or if you have any other questions on that, please DM me on Instagram. I would be happy to answer them. But now for some questions that I get asked a lot, which I think these could be really helpful because I feel like I looked everywhere for answers on transferring and I just like never found them. But anyways, what did you do about housing at San Diego State? A lot of people have asked me if I like secured housing for sophomore year at SDSU, like just in case, or what I did for that. And okay, so I actually did not secure any housing for sophomore year at San Diego State, which looking back was not the best idea. Like, I definitely should have had some backup plan, but I think there were a lot of reasons why I didn't secure any. I think that I pretty much knew that I wanted to leave, and I didn't really want to screw anyone else over. Like, I didn't want to tell a group of girls that I would be living with them when I kind of knew that I'd be leaving, and then last second leave with them having to find a new roommate. I just didn't really want to do that. And then also I just think it was kind of like really chaotic securing housing for sophomore year, and it was during a busy time, and I just didn't make housing plans for sophomore year, which I don't know if I'd recommend doing that. But I mean, if you know you're gonna leave, then that's one less thing holding you back. I feel like if I did secure housing, that would be like a whole nother ordeal that I would have had to go through. So yeah, that's your answer. Don't know if it's the best one, but something really funny happened in August, like a week before I was moving into TCU. I get an email from San Diego State telling me my housing assignment, and I was so confused. I called housing and I was like, hi, like I just got my room assigned for this year, but I'm not coming back. I think I actually had to sign like a cancellation contract and all this stuff, but I was very confused because they literally just assigned me a room a week before school started, and I was like, yo, I'm not coming back. A girl literally DM'd me on Instagram and was like, hi, like we're living together, like we just got our housing assignment, and I was like, shoot, I will not be in attendance. So yeah, that's a funny story. Okay, yeah, going along right with that is, how did you tell San Diego State that you weren't coming back? So yeah, I thought that this was gonna be like a harder thing. I thought that I'd have to fill out a form or like something. But in April, I went into the advisor office again and I was like, hi, like I'm transferring. What do I have to do? And they were like, oh, nothing. Like if you don't register for classes, then you won't be enrolled. So I was kind of confused. I was very, I don't know, maybe I missed out on something because for the first like 2 months of school here, I was getting emails telling me that my tuition bill was ready. We got that sorted out, I think. Mom, if you're watching this, did we get that sorted out? But yeah, as far as I know, San Diego State probably still thinks I'm a student there. I don't really, but to answer your question, definitely check with your school and see if there's anything that you need to fill out. I did that and they didn't really tell me I needed to do anything. I think in like July, I got a phone call from the registrar's office and they were like, hi, we noticed you're not enrolled in any classes. And I was like, oh yeah, like I'm not coming back. And that was the end of that. Okay, another question that I get asked a lot is how did your credits transfer over, and was there any like confusion with that? So yeah, this is something that I was really worried about because I've heard like horror stories of people transferring and like having 6 classes that didn't count for anything, and I've just heard all these stories. I was concerned, but all of my credits actually ended up transferring over just fine. There was one course that I took over summer that was a geology class, and they did not count that because my science needed a lab. So there's definitely like little things like that you gotta be careful for. But TCU actually has a website where you can put like your current college and the course that you took and what the equivalent course would be here. So I'm gonna link that down below for anyone that might be interested in TCU. So if anyone is interested in transferring here, I can link that down below. But definitely just call your school, because a lot of schools have this tool where you can see what the course equivalency is. Right after I decided to come here, I actually had a phone call with her, and I gave her my current transcript, and she put everything in the computer system and told me what transferred over and what I needed to redo and everything like that. But thankfully for me, everything transferred over, so I did not have many issues with that. But that's also because I took like the very basic courses my freshman year of college. I think where a lot of people have difficulty with this is when they get into the more upper division classes and the courses get more specific. So just definitely be careful of that. So yeah, if you know for a fact that you're transferring, definitely call the school that you are interested in, or see if your current school has any website like this. Okay, the next question is asking how I got housing here at TCU, because I know a lot of transfers here have difficulty getting housing. That's probably an issue no matter where you go. But anyways, my best friend went here and she knew 3 girls that needed an extra roommate, and I got really lucky. I know it's kind of like a rare situation. I lucked out on that one. So yeah, if you know someone that goes to the school you want to go to, definitely check in with them and ask if they know someone that needs a roommate. If not, there's usually a transfer page on Facebook, and you can just go on there and write that you need a roommate, and hopefully that'll work out. I know a few people that did that. So yeah, that's what I did for housing here. Okay, the next question is, what was the hardest part about the entire transfer process? For me, the hardest part was probably like the month after I decided I was transferring that I was still at SDSU, because I just started to get really comfortable there. I started to find amazing friends, and I just got kind of panicky. I was like, shoot, like why am I leaving? Everything's like starting to get so good. Like, should I have just waited it out? And I just got really anxious, and I just felt like I overthought it so much, and I was always worrying, and I was always wondering if I made the right decision. But that's also because I have a really hard time making decisions. Like, I will literally take 20 minutes to decide what to order at dinner, and then after I order, I'll start wondering if I made the right decision. Like, I'm just like that, so I overthought a lot. Yeah, I would say the hardest part was just like kind of coming to terms with the fact that just because I was comfortable at San Diego State did not mean that I was happy, and that transferring was the best thing that I could do for myself. Coming to that realization was very hard, but I'm here now and I'm happy, so we're all good. If you're overthinking and worrying a lot about the transfer decision process, I think that's pretty normal, but it all works out, and even if it takes a while to get adjusted, you will be totally fine. Okay, that leads into my next question. How has adjusting been at TCU? Okay, so I didn't talk about this in my whole timeline experience because I knew that I wanted to answer it now, but I feel like a lot of people have the notion that transferring is just you're unhappy at your current school, so then you decide to transfer, and then you pick your new school and it's just perfect right away. That is not the case whatsoever. It is very important to keep in mind that starting a new chapter, whether it be at your dream school or your dream job or whichever stage of life, it's hard no matter what, and it's going to be uncomfortable, and that's just okay. That's just how it goes. Change is not supposed to be an easy thing, and I think that's something that I just kept reminding myself, and that's what really got me through it. I feel like my first month here was definitely the toughest, just because I was in a brand new environment in a brand new state, and everything was just so new. And on top of that, the schoolwork here is a lot harder than it was last year, so it was just like a lot of adjusting all at once. And on top of that, it was probably like the hottest month I've ever been through. If you guys don't know, Texas can get very hot. So yeah, just on top of everything, adjusting to the climate was definitely something that I did not think would take that much getting used to, but it did. That's just a little side note. I feel like that's random, but I definitely wanted to bring that up. So yeah, it definitely took me a while to get adjusted here. It's December and I already just feel like so much more comfortable and just so much like, I don't know, it just works out how it's supposed to. The first month was definitely the hardest. The first month was also hard because I was like in the middle of trying to make friendships and meet people, and at the same time I was seeing all my friends back at SDSU like hanging out and posting Snapchats, and I had a bit of FOMO, but it's okay. Love to see them living their best lives, but I like really miss them. I still do, obviously, but like I'm more settled now, so it's like better. I just think it's really important to remember that friendships take time. Everything good in life takes time. You can't rush it. It's gonna work out. Also, getting involved right away definitely helped. I joined a sorority, which, by the way, I feel like a lot of people think that if you join a sorority, you have like so many friends right away, but that's not the case. I was so overwhelmed on my sorority's bid day because it was like my first week in Texas. I had just completely moved in, said goodbye to my mom. I hadn't really processed that I was starting a new school, and I just got like so overwhelmed on my bid day. I even started like crying. I just like so many emotions hit me at once. It's okay. I'm gonna talk about that in my sorority Q&A if you guys want to hear that. That was kind of a funny moment. It's overwhelming. You meet a lot of people at once, but it definitely gets better, and that's totally normal to feel overwhelmed. Was there any point where you regretted transferring? When I first saw this question, I was like, no, I never regretted it. But then I started thinking about it. Literally the only moment I can remember transferring was my very first day of school. It was literally the hottest day of my entire life, plus the Texas humidity. And when I was walking to class, I can like vividly remember this, and I was getting Snapchats from my friends back at SDSU, and I was like literally dripping sweat walking to class, and I didn't know where I was going. I didn't really know anyone. Like, I knew a few people here, but I was pretty much like kind of alone, and I was like, shoot, like what did I do? But that was the one moment. After that, I've never looked back. I think I kind of needed that panic moment to really appreciate it. It was just the emotions and the nerves getting to me, because I was just really nervous, and yeah, I thought that I regretted it, but I didn't. It's okay. We're good now. Okay, as you can see, I closed my computer. I have reached the end of my notes. If you still have questions that you would like me to answer, please comment down below or DM me on Instagram. I would love to answer them, because I know how you feel. I know that it can feel very lonely when you want to transfer, and you might feel like you're the only one going through this, but it's a very normal thing, and I have so many transfer friends here. Okay, I don't have like so many friends, but like I know a lot of people here that transferred, and I think it's a lot more normal than you may think. But yeah, I just hope that by me talking about my experience and what I've learned from this whole process, that I am able to help someone else go through the process. I know it's confusing, and I know that I didn't get a lot of answers. Like, thank God my parents were so supportive and helped me so much, because if I didn't have them, like I really would not know what to do. So I definitely get it. I know that it can be confusing and you don't really know where to start sometimes, so I hope that this helped. Also, if you guys are new, make sure you subscribe, because I'm actually doing Vlogmas right now, and I post lots of videos here at TCU, and I just really love it here, and I would love to share the experience with you. So yeah, subscribe if you're new. Also follow me on Instagram. I post there a lot, and I would love to talk to you there. And yeah, just thank you so much for watching, and please let me know any other questions you might have, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Do just what you want.